Gotcha. Great. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom. It's so good to be together, whether you're watching from home or you're with us here in person. I want to welcome everybody to Kabbalah Shabbat, the Friday night services. We're going to begin on page 13 with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nile Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeichem l'shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. On page 14, if you read at the top of the left-hand side of the page, you'll see that the Yedin Nefesh is a poem written in 16th century in Israel, by Elazar Azikri. A love poem between God and the Jewish people, where is the anniversary of the brit of the covenant between God and the Jewish people, because it's the brit, it's the beginning of Shabbat, it's the creation of Shabbat. So we turn to page 14 for Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman Meshoch Avdecha El Retzonach Yaharutz Avdach Kemo Ayal Yishtachaveh El Muhadarach Yeravo Yedidutach Minofetuf Vechol Ta'am Adonai Eziv Ha'olam Nafshi Cholat Avatach Hana El Arefana Nala, excuse me, Beharat Lo Noam Tivach Az Titchazek V'Titrabe V'Haita Halach Shivchat Olam Vatik Yehemuna Rachamecha V'Chusana Alenauvach Ki Zekomo Nichsafti Lihirav Tiferet Uzach Ana Eli Mahmad Libi V'Chushana Ve'Altid Alam Igalena Ufros Chavivi Alai Et Sukat Shelomach Ta'ir Eretz Mikevodach Nagila V'nismecha bach Maher Ahuv Kiva Moed V'choneni Ki me'olam Yada nai 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 nai, yada nai 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 nai, yada dai 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 dai, nai 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 nai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada nai 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 nai, nai 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 nai, yada nai 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 nai, yada nai 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 nai, yada nai 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 nai, nai 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 nai, yada nai 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 nai, yada nai 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 nai, yada nai. We turn to page 15 for Psalm 95. Lechu niranena la Adonai Naria litzur hishenu nikad mafanav v'toda bizmirot naria lo. We're 3 lines from the bottom, page 15. Arba'im shana akud bedor va'omar am to'e levavhem vehem lo yadu derachai asher nishbati be'api imivaun el menuchati. Page 16. Shiru ladonai, shir chadash, shiru ladonai, kol haaretz, shiru ladonai, bachru shemo, basru meyom leyom yeshuato, sapru vagoyim kevodo, bechol ha'amim niflaotav, ki gadol Adonai, Umeulal meod norahu al kol Elohim ay kikol Elohe hamim elelim va Adonai shamayim asa od vehadar lefanav oz vetiferet bemikdasho havul Adonai mishpat Amim Havul Adonai Kavod Va'oz Havul Adonai Kevod Shemo Se'u Mincha Uva'u Lechatrotav Ay Ishtachavu Ladonai Behadrat Kodesh Chilu Mipa Kol haaretz imru vagoyim Adonai malach afti kontevel baal timot yadinamim b'meisharim yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz yiram hayam umelo Ya'alo Sadai V'chol asher bo ay Az yiranenu kol atzei'ar lifnei Adonai kiva lishbot haaretz yishbot tevel betzedek ve'amim be'emunato ay nai Yai nai nai, yai nai nai nai, yai nai nai nai, yai nai nai nai. We turn now to page 18 for Psalm 98. Let's read responsively on page 18 on the left-hand side. Sing to Adonai a new song, for God has worked wonders. God's might has been triumphant, revealing supreme power to all. The whole world has seen the triumph of our God. Let all on earth shout for joy and break into jubilant song. Let the sea roar and all its creatures. Let the world and its many inhabitants. Adonai is coming to rule the earth, to sustain the earth, to judge its people with fairness. We turn now to page 20 for Psalm 29. It's customary to stand for this psalm, but if it's not your custom, that's fine. Mizmor leDavid, havu ladonai bnei lim, havu ladonai kavod va'oz, havu ladonai kevod shemo ishtachavu ladonai behadrat kodesh. Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavodim, Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'kolach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et arzei halvanon, vayarkidem kemogel Levanon, vesirion kemo ven re'emim, kol Adonai chotzev lahavlot esh, kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, kol Adonai yechol elayalot, vayechesof ye'arot, uvehechalo kulo omer kavod, Adonai lama bul yashava yeshev, Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Ay, nay, nay, ay, nay. Yay, nay, 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 ay, nay. Yay, nay, 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 nay. Yay, nay, 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 nay. You may be seated. Kabbalat Shabbat, the doorway to Shabbat opens, and we begin on page 21. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmiyanu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad, Ushemo echad l'shem utiferet, ve'elitila lecha dodi li, Penei Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela, mikdash melech ir melucha, kumitzei mitocha hafecha, rav lach shevet beyemek habacha, v'hu yachamol alaichem la. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, hitna arimei afarku mihi livshi bigdei tifartecha mihi al yad beni shai beit halach mikarva el nafshi geala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kiva orech, kumi uri, shir daberi kevod Adonai, alaich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela lo tevoshi ve'lo tikami ma tishtochachi u'ma temi bach yechesu aniye ami v'nivneta ir al tila lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela v'hayulim shisa shosayich v'rachaku kol mivalayich yasisalayich Elohayich kimsot chatan al kala lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Yaminu smolti froti ve'et Adonai ta'ariti al yadish ben parti v'nismecha v'nagila. Please rise. Lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha Uvetzala toch emune am segula boichala lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. You turn to page 23 for Psalm 92, a special psalm for Shabbat. Mizmor shir le'yom HaShabbat Tov lehodot la'Adonai Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon Le'hagid baboker chastecha Ve'echa balelot Alei asor ve'alei navel Alei higayon bechinor Mizmor shir le'yom HaShabbat Tov lehodot la'Adonai Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Four lines from the Tzadikata Ifrach Ke'erez Balvanon Yisge Shetulim Beve Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuvun Beseva Deshenim Verananim Yehu Lehagid Ki Ashar Adonai Turi Velo Avlatabo. We're on the top of page 24. Adonai Malach Yod Lavesh. Mikolot Mayim Rabim Adir B'Mishmerayam Adir B'Maram Adonai Edot Emud Levet Chanav Kodesh Adonai Leorech Yamim. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbos. Mark, how many do we have? 4. Okay, great. So not a minion. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbos. It's good to see everybody. I have this running joke with my kids where every night when I put them to bed, I unfortunately we're filming this, so they're going to find this out. I tell each one of them that they're my favorite. And I was talking to a friend of mine about that phenomenon earlier, and he said, and I love this, and I stole this from him. He has a daughter named Sarah, and he said, "You're my favorite, Sarah, and you get to decide where you put the comma." Right? And I love that. I thought that was genius, right? You're my favorite Sarah, or you're my favorite Sarah. And so I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that in the context of this week's Parsha, right? There's nothing that's pretty appropriate because it's Vayeshev. And, you know, 2 weeks ago, Yaakov met with his brother for the first time, and he saw Esav and all of, actually, sorry, that was last week. He saw Esav and they reunited. And now Yaakov is finally on his own terms. He's not in his parents' house. He's not in his father-in-law's house. He's not worried about his brother. So he gets to make the rules and establish the culture. And immediately he starts messing it up. Immediately. The parsha begins, Vayeshev Yaakov be'eretz migurei aviv be'eretz Canaan. Right? And Yaakov dwelled be'eretz migurei aviv, in the land of his father's travels, be'eretz Canaan. Now, the rabbis think, operating under the assumption that there is no wasted word in the Torah, ask a question. Why couldn't the pasuk just say, why couldn't the verse just say, Vayeshev Yaakov be'eretz Canaan? Why does it have to say, be'eretz migurei aviv be'eretz Canaan? Why couldn't it just say, and Yaakov dwelled in the land of Canaan? Why did it have to say he dwelled in the land of his father's travels in the land of Canaan? Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berditchev, the Kedushat Levi, says that the reason it mentions migurei aviv, the travels or the settlings of his, is because Jacob had learned to build based on the ethics that he learned from his father. He learned how to live life, how to be a Jew, how to worship one God. And he learned favoritism. Right? The apple doesn't fall far. We'll actually find out, right? So we know that Jacob's favorite is Joseph. And Joseph has to go away. The brothers plot to kill him, but then they throw him in a pit and he's sold to slavery. And coincidentally, the amount of time that Joseph is gone from Jacob is the same amount of time that Jacob is gone from Isaac. Right? Jacob had to leave when he stole the birthright for 23 years. Joseph leaves for the exact same amount of time. That is not a coincidence. It's called midah keneged midah, or measure for measure. Or what goes around comes around. Right? Just as Yitzchak demonstrated his love and fear from heaven, this is Rabbi Levi says, well, just as Yitzchak demonstrated his love and fear for heaven, Yaakov would take this love and fear from heaven. So he knew how to honor God and knew how to favor a child. Those are the things. What did you learn from your parents? Well, I learned how to whistle and I learned how to lose my temper. Right? I'm not saying me. I'm just saying that's some people, right? Because the next thing, now Yaakov loved Yosef more than all his children. Why? Some say it's Joseph's mother, is because of Yosef's mother is Rivka and not Leah, and he loved Rivka, he loved Rebecca more than Leah. Rashi has a different take. Rashi says that the reason he loved him, or maybe not the reason he loved him, but maybe this is just a coincidence, Yosef took after his father to such a degree that he even physically resembled his father. Now, that could either lead to favoritism or it could lead to being picked on or being hard on him. You remind me of me, so I'm going to tell you how to do it. So this parsha is rife with the tension between parents and children. And again, generation after generation, we see favoritism and what it costs us to do that. It starts with Avraham. It starts before Avraham. It starts with Cain and Abel. We see strife between siblings all the time. The book of Breshit, the book of Genesis, is an amazing book to introduce us to the Torah, because our ancestors are very different than other Bibles. You know, the first Christians or the first Muslims are portrayed in their holy works as devout, great people. We put the fun in dysfunction. We show favoritism, we lose our temper, brother wants to kill brother, they run away, the wives don't get along, the one steals from her father, all of this stuff. It's this is a dated reference, but it's like a Maury Povich show, or what was it? What was the other one? Jerry Jones. No, not Jerry Jones. Jerry Springer, right. It was like a Jerry Springer show. In this parsha, again, we see deception, we see betrayal. right? Just as Jacob deceived his father and put the lamb on, and made him feel like, like Esav, the voice is the voice of Jacob, and the arm feels like Esav. Hakol kol Yaakov v'yadayim yedei Esav. Just like that, the brothers, when they sell Yosef into slavery, they trick their father. They put blood on the coat and say, "Oh, our brother was killed by a wild beast." Right? And they go to this, they sing a song, one less chair at the table, something like that. I don't remember. I don't know Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat that well. But Joseph travels just like his father, who traveled, who was a victim of favoritism. But Joseph ends the cycle. Just as Genesis is ending, just as Bereshit is coming to a close, who are Yosef's children? They are Ephraim and Manasseh. And they get the blessing like this, so that they are equal and they are partners. And Yosef is a unique character in the history of the Torah. Yosef is unique because he's the first person in the Torah referred to as a Jew or an Israelite. He's the first one who is identified as a Jew or an Israelite who doesn't live amongst Jews or Israelites. He lives amongst Egyptians. And he, for lack of a better word, assimilates into the culture. His wife is Egyptian. He gets powerful. He becomes a good, he has a good job. He's not a doctor, but he's, it's fine, right? It reminds me of the joke of the first Jewish president being sworn in. Do you know this joke? The first Jewish president is being sworn in on the Capitol steps. He's got his hand on the, I guess, maybe JPS, Chumash or Tanakh. And his mother's sitting in the front row, beaming. She looks at the person next to him. She says, "You see that young man? His brother's a doctor." We put so much pressure on our children. We put pressure on our children to be so many things. Sometimes they have to go away to find out who they are. Joseph has to go away from his family to be who he is. When he's with his family, who is he? He's the baby. He's the one that tattles to his father. He's the one that goes to bring water. He doesn't work in the fields. He goes to bring them water. He's the baby. He's treated like a baby. And when he leaves, he becomes a leader. And it's because of the teachings of his father that he's able to hold on to who he is. We'll talk more about this tomorrow, but it's because of his upbringing, it's because of where he came from that he's able to become the leader he is. The rabbis of the Mishnah, the rabbis in Perkei Avot say, remember 3 things and you'll keep away from sin. Remember where you come from, remember where you're going to, and remember before whom you stand. Where do we come from? We come from our parents' house. Where are we going? Cheery, we're going to be dust and before we stand before God. And Yosef remembered that. Where do I come from? I come from my father's house. Even though he assimilates into the culture, he is an Israelite. He is someone who keeps the culture, the Jewish people together. He doesn't lose himself. And we, tonight, we're going to, you're wearing sweaters that show the holiday that it is coming up. I think it starts December 25th. Nice. Right? We are living in a different land. We are in a land that is not our own. We are Joseph. We have to maintain our culture. Yes, we may be the only ones on the block without lights. We may be the only ones on the block who don't have a wreath on our door. But when it's time, we light the candles and we put them in our front window. We don't put them in the back, we put them in the front to publicize, Pirsum Nisa, to publicize the miracle, because not just because of the miracle, but also because we are Jews living in a strange land. We are Jews who are remembering where we come from. It's not about memory. It's not just about the past. It's about the present and the future. Shabbat Shalom. All right. So we have 4, you said? Yeah. So when you have 9, do you count a minion or no? I'm just asking what the tradition is here. I know it. I'm a rabbi. I am? All right. We're going to turn to page 28. Yeah, so we're gonna stay seated. We're not gonna do Baruch Hu. We're gonna do page 28. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'dvarim. Umavir yom umevi laila umavdil ben yom uvein laila Adonai tzvaot shemo El chai v'kayam tamid yimlach aleinu leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai hamari v'aravim Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochveinu uvekumeinu nasiach bechukecha ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם ויעשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בטיל תכלת והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת. המעביר בניו בין גזרי ים סוף, את רודפיהם ברצוניהם ותמות בה, וראו בניו גבורתו שיבחו והודו לשמו, ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם. משה בני ישראל לחנו שירה, ושמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם, Mi chamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, norati lot osef ele, malchutcha ra'u vanecha, bokeam lifnei Moshe, ze eli anu v'amru, Adonai himloch leolam va'ed, ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגואלו מאוד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל Yisrael. Let's turn together on page 33 at the top on the left-hand side. Let's read together. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all God's people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Ushmor tzeitenu uvoenu l'chaim u'shalom yatav yad olam ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha baruch ata Adonai hapore sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Please rise on the top of page 34 for Vishamru. Vishameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם ai ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. We don't do the Kaddish because we don't have a minyan, but the silent Amidah can be found on page 35A or B through page 38. If you're still saying the Amidah, please continue to do so. We continue with the Aleinu on page 51. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol latet gedula leotzer breshit shelo asanu kagoye haratzot velo samanu kimishbechot adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem vegor aleinu kechol hamonam vanachnu korim Umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Kakatu b'toratecha Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihyeh Adonai echad u'shemo Ushemo Echad. In this Shabbat, we recall the yard site and remember the lives of Arthur Kerbel, father of Bunny Kaufman, of Bayless Reuben Resnick, husband of Ruthie Resnick and brother of Mort Resnick, of Marion Wayne, mother of Ann Sperber, of Samuel Davis, father of Gerald Davis. May all of their memories be for a blessing. We will do the Mourner's Kaddish. If anyone has a need or desire to say Kaddish on page 52, we'll recite it together. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam u'lamei olmaya, yisbarach v'yishtabach v'yishba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudesha brichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. A few announcements. Tomorrow morning services are at 10 a.m. and there'll be a special Hanukkah Kiddush sponsored by Congregation HaYam tomorrow after services. Join Fran at 7 p.m. on Thursday for her Musar classes. That's off for a couple weeks. It resumes on January 9th. My Lunch and Learn classes at noon on Thursday will continue in January. I believe it's the 20th of January. Ritual committee meeting is 7 p.m. January 8th. Board meeting is 7 p.m. January 15th. There's a book club. The Significant Jewish Book Club is beginning its 2024-2025 year with The Talented Mrs. Mandelbaum, The Rise and Fall of an Organized Crime Boss. All right, then. Fran will be leading the discussion on Thursday, December 26th at 7 p.m. with a Hanukkah lighting also happening that evening. We are having 2 Hanukkah lightings. So there's the book club on December 26th and the Hanukkah lighting then. And the other Hanukkah lighting is Tuesday, December 31st at 5:30 p.m. So December 26th and December 31st, we have 2 Hanukkah candle lightings together. All right. Those are all the announcements, I believe. We'll do Yigdal to conclude the service on page 53. Oh, really? Can I finish the service first before you chak me a chainik to do Kiddush? Do you guys know that phrase? Have you know chak a chainik? Okay, good. It's Yiddish. It means pester, basically. I don't know what it literally means, but like nudge. Yeah. Yigdal Elohim chai v'yishtabach nimtza, because we got to get to Kiddush. Nimtza v'yehenet el mitziyuto echad v'yen yachid keyichudo ne'lam v'gam ein sof le'achduto ein lo demut haguf ואינו גוף, לא נערוך אליו קדושתו, קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא, ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו, הינו אדון עולם לכל נוצר, יורה גדולתו מלכותו, שפע נבואתו נתנו, אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו. לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד, נביא ומהביט את תמונתו, תורת אמת נתן לעמואל, על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו, לא יחליף האל ולא ימיר דתו, לעולמים לזולתו, צופה ויודע סתרנו, מביט לסוף דבר בקודמתו, גומל לאיש חסד כמפעלו, נותן לרשע רע כרשעתו, ישלח לקץ ימין משיחנו, לפדות מחכה קץ ישועתו, מתים יחיה ברוב חסדו, ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו, מתים יחיה ברוב חסדו, ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו. What do I do with this? Do I put it on my head? I put it on my head, right? Okay. ויערב ויבוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. סברי חבריי, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, בשבת קודשו, באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי באנו בחרתה ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Aha. Go eat. Shabbat shalom.